On this episode of America's Port, high winds push a cruise ship toward a crash in the main channel.
We have to do something.
Starboard 50.
A K9 unit detects drugs in a passenger's luggage.
Find it. Check this one.
And a bomb threat at the cruise ship terminal shuts down the port. The Port of Los Angeles, the busiest container port in the United States, handling 190 million tons of cargo annually. But this port is not just about cranes, container ships, and cargo.
You know, everybody thinks of us as a big container port. We're not just that. There's so many other things. We're a multi-purpose port. We're a recreational resource. I can look out my window, I can see the USC crew team going by, and then a big container ship will go by. And we have the cruise ships.
Welcome to the #1 cruise ship terminal on the West Coast. More than 15 cruise lines dock here, taking 1.2 million passengers a year to Catalina Island, Mexico, Hawaii, and around the world. 4 ships are due to arrive, making this the busiest cruise ship day of the year.
Everybody sailing on these cruises, and it's pretty much like the airports. Pretty crazy.
To keep these vessels safe, port law enforcement agencies run security operations both in the public eye and behind the scenes, often in the middle of the night.
People want to be able to vacation and vacation in safety.
One precaution that most cruise ship passengers aren't aware of: random underwater bomb sweeps before the ships reach port. One of the 4 cruise ships, the Monarch of the Seas, is already close by. Returning from Mexico, she drops anchor off Catalina, a resort island 20 miles from the port. The Monarch of the Seas has over 1,100 rooms, 3 restaurants, 2 swimming pools, and a rock climbing wall. And something no other cruise ship has.
Staff captain, captain.
Go ahead, Captain.
Yeah, staff captain, how is the tender operation going today? My name is Karen Starr Jansson. I am the first female captain in Royal Caribbean and in any major cruise lines.
That puts her in charge of a huge vessel weighing 74,000 tons and capable of doing 22 knots on the open sea.
Okay, thank you. Normally there is a whisper around the deck saying, oh, it's a female captain. And some men actually normally mutter, oh, it's a woman driving, that's not gonna do it. But they get a sharp elbow in their stomach from their wives. Good, then we have a plan.
While the Monarch's passengers go ashore to visit Catalina, the Port Police and Sheriff's Department send dive teams to search underneath the Monarch for explosives.
We're going to have divers, need to and sweep the hull and eliminate any kind of threat that might be on there as far as underwater bombs or anything like that that might be attached to the hull. In addition to that, we're going to have our rescue helicopter. It has more of our personnel on board. And what they're going to do is they're going to check everything above the water line, anything that might look unusual on the vessel, the superstructure on top.
If there's an IED anywhere on the ship, better to deal with it in open water than inside the port.
Good morning, Monarch, Los Angeles Port Police. We have 2 officers that we'd like to drop off this morning.
Before the bomb sweep begins, 2 officers board the ship to ensure that the engines are turned off so that divers don't get caught in the massive propellers or sucked into the ballast.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. We're aboard the Monarch of the Seas today, and we're performing a procedure known as a lockout tagout procedure. The purpose of this is to ensure that the ship is safe for a dive inspection.
Okay, bridge, diver flag hoisted.
Scott's got the keel. I'll go next door to Scott.
Good?
Yeah. Rolly's next.
Each dive team is responsible for half the hull, from the keel over to the waterline.
Here you go.
The Sheriff's Department on the port side, Port Police on the starboard. The Monarch is 880 feet long. These two teams, with a total of 16 divers, will search an area nearly the length of 3 football fields.
So right now they're just getting set up on their safety line. That buoy will be on the surface, and we'll get an idea where the team is as we're progressing along the vessel.
The explosives they're looking for could be as small as a cell phone, and could be camouflaged with barnacles, or made to look like part of the ship. The divers examine every inch under the Monarch. A bomb could be anywhere. Danger always lurks beneath the waves, especially out here in the open water. Halfway through the bomb sweep, an aggressive ocean current surges beneath the cruise ship. Divers fall out of position and fight to stay in their search line. The rough conditions deplete their energy and their oxygen. The danger, divers carried away by the rushing water.
They're fighting to stay there, aren't they?
The dive may have to be scrapped, with half the hull not searched, and the Monarch not truly secure.
Have everybody come up.
Topside, a concerned sheriff's deputy orders his dive team to surface, while the port police team remains below.
There's a high current out here, but just working through it.
What he's doing, he's signaling we're fine.
Feel that current pushing us?
Oh, yeah. God. Yeah, I felt it.
You guys started off going pretty good, and then all of a sudden it's like, I kept getting pulled off the keel.
Hey, Dave. And I was fighting it.
I was kicking as hard as I could. I was not moving. It was so frustrating.
Now it's up to the port police to finish the mission, to ensure the safety of the ship, its 2,600 passengers, and the Port of Los Angeles.
Dive team to topside. My guys are really struggling. Don't lose self-comm. Dive team to surface. All clear. Ready to come up.
Despite the danger of the strong currents for the port police, 2 hours after beginning the sweep, they complete the arduous dive. Mission accomplished.
All right, looks like our other divers are coming up now.
No bombs found. Everyone safe for today.
It's good. So heavy current. Oh my God, that's the hardest I've ever kicked in my life.
Yeah, it was a real strong current.
I felt like I was pulling a trailer.
It's like riding a stationary bike. You're kicking and you're trying to move, but it doesn't seem like you're going anywhere.
Literally strapping a trailer to your back and trying to walk with it and pull it across the sidewalk.
We were able to accomplish our mission, complete our task, Didn't find any discrepancies. Main thing is everyone got back safe.
In the pre-dawn hours of the busiest day of the year, several cruise ships, including the Monarch of the Seas, arrive at the port of Los Angeles. The harbor appears calm, but behind the scenes, security operations continue. The job of law enforcement is never done. The port is never safe enough.
All right, we're ready to splash.
Port police send out the dive team again. Their mission, sweep the docks where 4 cruise ships will berth today.
We're looking for any signs of anything's been tampered with or any explosives. We want to make sure the cruise ships are safe when they come into our port.
Go.
At the other end of the harbor, Officer Jonathan Octo waits at Angel's Gate to provide a police escort for the Monarch.
The kind of thing that we're worried about are attacks similar to what happened with the USS Cole in Yemen, and that threat comes from small vessels specifically.
Chief Port Pilot Mike Rubino motors out to meet the Monarch and bring her into the harbor.
Welcome to wintertime in the Port of Los Angeles.
No registered vessel enters the Port of LA without a port pilot taking the helm. The pilot's job, use his knowledge of the port to guide the ship safely to its berth. Today's crowded schedule creates a pre-dawn ballet of megaships in the channel. First in line, the Celebrity Summit. Right behind, the Monarch of the Seas. The Summit will sail into the turning basin and rotate 180 degrees, while the Monarch makes a left turn into the cruise ship terminal slip. The Summit will then dock in the main channel, and 2 more cruise ships will arrive after that. There's no room for error here. A traffic jam could delay thousands of passengers and cost the cruise lines hundreds of thousands of dollars. On a morning when everything needs to go perfectly, the weather's not cooperating.
We have some pretty brisk winds out of the northwest, and the high wind is going to add a little bit of degree of difficulty that we don't normally have, because the cruise ships tend to have a lot of sail area.
The sail area of a vessel is the amount of ship above the waterline. In high winds, the superstructure acts like a giant sail, pushing the ship around like a child's toy.
If you look up, look at all the overhang and the balconies up there, all of that catches the wind.
3 miles outside the harbor, Captain Rubino arrives at the Monarch.
All right? Okay. Okay.
Boarding the cruise ship, he proceeds to the bridge.
Your pass, can you return to starboard side shell gate door?
Morning, Captain. Rubino's my name. How are you? I know.
That one we need to switch off now. Yeah.
Lose that light, buddy.
Yeah.
Very
Can't
safe.
have that. Sorry.
Sudden light can temporarily hinder the crew's night-adapted vision. The bridge needs to remain dark for the captain and port pilot to navigate safely. Their eyes readjust, and Rubino takes control of the Monarch.
298, 10 knots. Thank you.
Okay, pilot has to go.
Despite high winds, Rubino guides the Monarch safely through the entrance to the port, where Officer Octo begins his escort.
I pick up the Monarch of the Seas as it's inbound, verify there's no small vessels around it, and see it safely berthed at the World Cruise Terminal.
They're huge ships, huh?
Security, all stations, Los Angeles, Monarch of the Seas. Inbound LA main channel, approaching number 10. Inbound for slip 93. Standing by 13 for all concerned traffic, Monarch of the Seas. Heading, I'll wave them in.
With the cruise ship due to arrive any moment, the Port Police dive team continues their bomb sweep.
Team 2 below, Team 2 below, radio check.
The dive team has to hurry. The cruise ships can't berth until the piers are clear.
Individual nav lights.
We can start coming down about 8 knots now, please.
8 knots.
As the Monarch enters the main channel, she must lower her speed from 10 knots to 2. Going that slow, the ship doesn't have enough forward momentum to overcome high winds on the port side. She's now vulnerable to being pushed into nearby docked ships.
Starboard 5, 3, 3, 8. I'm gonna carry towards the middle a little more.
I think that's the best way to do it. I don't want to come too close to the first corner here because the wind's going to push us down onto the docks.
With conditions worsening, Captain Janssen takes back control of her ship.
Okay, steady on 015 and I'll have the gun. Just running.
We're setting to starboard.
Setting to starboard, yeah.
Her fears are justified as the wind pushes the cruise ship completely out of position and into harm's way.
I should have brought her more to the west too. That was my fault. Yeah.
Port 20. Midship.
The Monarch now careens to the east side of the channel, where 2 massive container ships are berthed at the Evergreen terminal.
Brace your meters, okay.
Breach is the last word a captain ever wants to hear. Shoved by the wind, the stern of the Monarch swings toward a collision with 100,000 tons of steel docked 30 meters away.
Midship.
The bridge crew scrambles to avert a crash.
Give her starboard 20.
There is a point of no return where if you don't take action soon enough and with enough force applied, that collision is inevitable.
But it may already be too late. The gap between the Monarch and the container ship closes by the second. Only 20 meters separates the Monarch from a major collision.
We have to do something. Should have got her moved to the west for you.
Starboard 50.
Close, man.
Give her starboard 20.
Due to high winds in the port, the cruise ship Monarch of the Seas veers on a collision course with 2 colossal cargo vessels docked in the main channel.
Right now we're about 20 meters from the starboard quarter of the Monarch to the Evergreen ship, and we're closing.
The Monarch slides closer and closer towards impact. A crash here would not only endanger the cruise ship's 2,600 passengers, but it could be fatal to the 50 longshoremen working the docks. The port would shut down, causing billions of dollars in lost productivity, not only to Los Angeles, but to the entire country.
Hard to port.
The Monarch is now 15 meters from crashing. On the bridge, Captain Janssen gives a kick on the port engine and a hard right rudder, desperately trying to get back to the middle of the channel. Oversteering the rudder could make matters worse.
Midship.
Coming right, thrusting around.
The engine room calls up to the bridge. The turbines can't take much more.
We're in a really awkward spot here, so we do need the power chief. We'll try to keep it below 1 megawatt.
Captain Janssen works the bow thruster to steer the Monarch away from the cargo ships.
On the stern, how do we look there?
Yeah, we're getting towards the start
You're clear. You're clear. You're clear.
At the last second, the captain pulls the stern around, and the Monarch barely clears the huge container ships.
All right, nice save, Captain. That's
Good teamwork.
Good job. Summit, Monarch. Summit. Yeah, give us a minute, Doug. Get situated to come into the slip.
Yeah, I see that thruster working this morning.
Yeah, we got it.
Crisis averted. The Monarch turns into her slip, and the next cruise ship is ready to dock right behind her.
Surface, roger to both teams, surfacing.
With the Monarch bearing down on them, the port police need to wrap up their dive operation. Bomb sweep completed. Docks clear.
Everything went well today. The ships are actually coming down the main channel now. We've determined that there's no underwater hazards that we were able to identify, and feel it's pretty comfortable for the ships to go ahead and do their mooring.
With the docks clear and the near miss behind them, the Monarch has a smooth berthing.
1.2 knots.
Every time you step aboard a ship, there's inherent danger. This morning, we had the potential to have a serious maritime incident.
But the bridge team performed very well, did their job, and we came alongside without incident. So it shows that when everybody's doing their job, things work. And that's what we count on in this industry, and that's what happened this morning.
Dawn breaks over the busiest cruise ship day of the year. The passengers on board the Monarch of the Seas have slept through the ship's near collision, blissfully unaware. 3 cruise ships dock at the terminal this morning, with one more due before noon.
What's up, guys? Hey.
Superintendent Jeff Metzger oversees 30 stevedores working the Crystal Symphony cruise ship. Their job, unload 2,000 pieces of passenger luggage and restock the ship with 90 pallets of supplies for the next cruise.
It's gonna be a strange day because we're doing some stuff differently than we normally do.
With 4 cruise ships in port today, a normal full day's work has to get done in 4 hours. The Crystal Symphony must sail at 11 a.m. without fail because another ship is due in at that berth. There aren't enough parking spaces for 4 vessels at the same time.
Mickey, what's the matter?
Can't get nothing going, that's what's going on. We couldn't reach. We were 3 feet too short to even get in.
Oh my God, give me all you can give me. Forward.
The morning doesn't start well. The Crystal Symphony isn't close enough to the dock.
That's gotta come up to here. At least to here.
A few inches can throw off today's demanding schedule, stacking up cruise ships in the channel and costing hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We have an extremely limited amount of time to load this ship. I only have from 7 to 11 today. Well, they're telling me I got about 90 pallets, and I'm thinking it's more like 150. So, it's 5 till 7?
The big ships readjust, and the stevedores start their day.
Crunch is on. Time to go to work. All right?
Over at the Monarch, debarkation begins. While officers from Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, scrutinize every passenger, their luggage goes through a rigorous inspection as well.
The bags are down here. The K9 team will then go through the bags and screen the bags for the presence of narcotics. Passengers are all waiting outside for their bags, so as soon as the K9 officer's done, we'll open the doors here and the passengers can come and claim their baggage.
On the case, the sensitive nose of Mr. Brown, a CBP drug-sniffing dog.
What Mr. Brown's gonna be looking for is narcotics. Hash, marijuana, ecstasy, meth, amphetamines, you name it, you can find it. I have one bag out that's a training aid. When he finds that training aid, he's actually gonna scratch at it and tell me, hey, here's where the dope is, here's where the dope is. And what he'll get is his reward, which is a rolled up towel.
Standard procedure during searches. Plant narcotics as a training aid in one of the bags. This keeps the dogs on full alert.
To him, it's a game. He's just looking for his stuff. Now, if an officer had to search every bag, you could see how many bags are here now. It would take them a couple hours. I can do this in probably 5 minutes. And I'm more positive there's no dope in it than I would be if an officer went through the bags. You ready, buddy? Huh? Ready? Can you find it? Find it.
Today, Mr. Brown checks 5,000 pieces of luggage from the Monarch. Every suspicious bag gets pulled aside.
Find it. Find it.
Mr. Brown alerts on one particular bag.
Check this one.
What you got? Where is it? Good boy. Yeah, good boy.
Mr. Brown earns his paycheck for the day.
Oh, good boy. Good boy. The red and blue one was my training aid. His reward is getting a roll-up towel. But what he associates the towel with is the odor. So what he's looking for is not narcotics. He's looking for his toy. He thinks I hid a toy someplace.
That's a good boy. Yes, sir. You did good.
There's still one suspect piece of luggage to investigate. The next step, match the bag with the passenger.
Basically, all the public here recovers their bags. So we're gonna wait, find out who recovers the bag.
At the Port of Los Angeles cruise ship terminal, the clock ticks for the stevedores. They have only 2 more hours to load this ship.
You have to get done by 11 o'clock here.
We got 18 trucks out there.
For us? You gotta be shitting me. 18 trucks. Are they all loaded?
Adding to the burden, extra pallets of provisions, but no extra time to get them on board.
150 pallets.
How much?
150.
Yeah, I know. We can do that if we get started.
That's gonna take all freaking day.
We're already up to 150. That means 200.
Each pallet contains supplies for the cruise ship. Everything from food and hotel supplies to souvenirs for the gift shops. On a typical week, the average cruise ship goes through 20,000 pounds of beef, 4,000 pounds of seafood, 100,000 pounds of produce, and 8,000 gallons of ice cream. And it all has to be loaded from these docks.
Go out to the gate, tell them to get those trucks in here. I'm dying already.
Time keeps running. The 11 o'clock deadline looms large.
So, let's go.
We're gonna get this done, don't worry, Nick.
I mean, I can get all those pallets on if they start working here in the next 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah, 10-4. We're gonna get it done.
The stevedores can't afford any more surprises, or this ship won't sail on time.
And escort them to secondary. Okay. But don't make it obvious.
Inside the terminal, a narcotics dog alerts on a suitcase.
We're gonna go ahead and observe the bag and wait for the individual to pick up their luggage, and then they'll be escorted to secondary where further inspection can continue.
Customs and Border Protection has the largest number of working dog teams of any federal agency.
Good boy. Find it.
Canine units at all ports of entry seize over 400,000 pounds of narcotics yearly, and CBP makes over 3,000 drug arrests. A 19-year-old claims a suspicious bag. CBP officers move in and detain him for questioning.
Which ones are your bags? All right. Sir, this way, please.
Officer Rocha leads the passenger to secondary for baggage inspection.
Thank you, sir. Step over here, please. Have you at any time or in your lifetime used any kind of narcotics like marijuana, cocaine, or any other items?
Yeah, I have. Have you?
Negative, sir.
No, never.
Never. You don't have any of those items with you today?
Nope.
Did you have any of the items that I just mentioned with you when you boarded the vessel, sir?
No.
Officer Rocha detects the smell of marijuana.
What did you have in here?
Can't remember.
You can't remember, or you don't want to disclose it?
I really can't remember.
You understand that it is against the law to have any kind of narcotics paraphernalia, especially if we find residue? The first fine is going to be for $5,000. Is there anything you wish to change at this time?
Sorry?
Is there anything else you want to disclose to me before I continue?
No, that's it, man. There's no.
So what was it? What was in it? I'd rather have your honesty.
Yeah, man. You know.
Is there any more?
That's it, man.
How much did you have with you, sir?
It was a small amount. I promise you that. I mean, it's not like I could fit a pound in there. You know what I mean?
The vial contains enough residue to run a chemical test.
We are going to be testing the contents of the bottle. At this time, we suspect that it could be cannabis, marijuana. There is enough to test it. These are the test kits we use. They're called a NICS test kit.
To make a positive ID, Officer Rocha looks for a change in the chemical's color.
And it does test positive for marijuana. The items that he has with him are very small in quantity, but the United States government has a zero tolerance. We're going to confer with our supervisors at this time. If they decide not to do anything for you, then you will be fined the $5,000. You understand? All right, go ahead and have a seat. I'll be with you shortly.
Let's go.
For the stevedores loading the cruise ships, a tough day gets tougher.
Not gonna unload itself.
More trucks show up, more pallets to load.
5 trucks just showed up. These are extra trucks that we weren't expecting. The ship's supposed to leave at 11, and we've got trucks showing up out the.
That's real nice. You guys got potato chips there.
It's after 10 o'clock. At 11, this ship must be gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's 10:30. They want to be done by 11, and they keep bringing trucks in. I'm over 200 pallets already. 230 plus at this point right now.
I thought it was only supposed to be like 90.
There you go.
There's no overtime on this job, not with today's schedule. And Metzger has never had a ship miss its sail time.
I'm just gonna work until you come out here and tell me to stop doing it, and then I'll stop doing it, all right?
Minutes remain before the next cruise ship arrives at berth 92, exactly where the Crystal Symphony is still being loaded.
All right, watch your back. I don't know what's gonna happen at this point. We're gonna try to figure it out.
Yeah, we should make it.
You're an optimist, huh?
We'll make it.
No, we'll make it. We'll be fine.
It's the busiest cruise ship day of the year at the port. At the cruise ship terminal, time runs short for the stevedores.
That's it?
I hope so.
They have to finish loading the Crystal Symphony by 11 o'clock, only moments away.
We're way behind. We got more trucks than anticipated. We've got things showing up that we weren't counting on. I'm not sure if we're going to make it, so we're going to keep working at it.
I don't know.
Listen, my goal is this. We're just going to keep unloading and loading until they tell us to stop doing it. And we'll stop. 4 here and about 6 on the aft, and we're done. 10,000.
As the clock ticks, their hard work pays off.
We're good. We'll be done in a minute. The original estimate to load on the ship was 91 pallets. It ended up being 250 pallets plus.
Even the supervisors lend a hand. Whatever it takes to get the ship out on time.
We've done our part, and now I'm happy that everything went well, nobody got hurt. The ship is leaving basically on time, and you know, we can't do any better than that.
Inside the terminal, a Customs and Border Protection officer detains a passenger for possession of marijuana residue.
In most cases, our K9 is alerted to the marijuana, no matter how small or minute.
The 19-year-old awaits his fate, a possible $5,000 fine.
We're going to make sure that you understand this. It is very, very difficult to be bringing narcotics, even as little as you did, into the country. We will find it. You understand? Have you ever been arrested?
No, I haven't.
Do you have any outstanding warrants?
None at all.
Okay. What we found was destroying evidence during testing. So at this time, you are lucky because they're not going to initiate fines. So you're free to go. Thank you, sir, for your cooperation. Stay clean. Take care, bro.
At baggage claim, cruise ship security measures continue.
We're at the berth 92 cruise terminal, the debark area where the luggage has been staged. Excuse me, sir.
Port Police K-9 officer William Yoakum and his dog Bear perform a routine check for the scent of explosives.
I'm gonna go ahead and search this area and see what we have.
Bear goes to work.
This is probably the part where it's most critical for the port, because this is where it's most like an airport, where there's thousands of people trying to get on and thousands of people trying to get off. So, and if there's any potential for terrorism, it would be during this critical time, because there's always people confined in a small space.
Due to the volatile nature of explosives, Bear is trained to alert quietly and with no sudden movements to avoid accidental detonation. On a day when there can be no hiccups in the schedule, Bear gets a positive response on one suitcase. It could be a bomb. Police move in and evacuate the terminal.
We need to get these people as far away as possible. As a matter of fact, if we can get them on the other side of these buses and over toward the Monarch, in that area over there, so much better. Okay.
Mac, Bonnie, people, everybody, come on now.
The captain of the port of Los Angeles Long Beach has established a safety zone on the waters of Los Angeles Harbor from Vincent Thomas Bridge. No person or vessel may enter this zone without permission of the captain of the port or Los Angeles Port Police. Break.
The Coast Guard seals off the main shipping channel. Ships turn back at the harbor entrance. Trucks stop at the terminal gates.
You know, I could go my whole career without finding anything. We usually end up with nothing. Today we've got something, so that's my job. That's what happens, and you know, I'm prepared for it.
The massive economic engine that is the Port of Los Angeles slams to a halt. Inside the cruise ship terminal, Port Police and Coast Guard officers investigate a suspicious suitcase flagged for explosives. The main channel of the Port of Los Angeles shuts down. Hundreds of passengers about to board cruise ships on the busiest day of the year must evacuate the terminal immediately.
Open up that gate right here. We can set up next to that little button.
Port Police Officer Alex Castillo races to the scene.
There's thousands of people on each cruise ship, so we got to go secure the facility and assist with what's going on.
Closing the shipping channel could cost the American economy billions of dollars a day. But in the Port of Los Angeles, safety and security are the first priority.
Once security's saying that they want them passed all the way down to 93, that's too far.
You want them further back, or is this good enough?
I'm going to double check right now.
Okay.
Right now what we're doing is we're taking all the safety precautions in case it is for real. Better safer than sorry.
While cruise passengers anxiously wait outside, Coast Guard investigators x-ray the suitcase.
Ran the bag through. As you can see, here is the item in question.
On the x-ray, it looks like a bomb.
It's oval in shape, and whichever way we flipped the bag, it stayed the same shape. So we were concerned. Looks like it could possibly be a hand grenade.
What everyone fears, an explosive device targeting the port. But thankfully, the threat turns out to be harmless.
We contacted the owner of the bag and ascertained that there was no actual device in there, that it ended up being just a lump of coral. The owner of the bag had been transporting small ammunition and weapons to and from a range for target practice and stuff in that bag. Therefore, there was some residual odor on the bag, which is why the dog showed a change in behavior. So all in all, great mission. Dogs did their job. Everything's back open for business. The folks can get back on or off the ship and go on their vacation.
Despite the hectic day, security procedures work as they're supposed to. The port returns to normal. Cargo arrives at the rate of 500,000 tons a day. Consumer goods make their way to stores around the country.
You can never say that the Port of Los Angeles is a secure port and we're done. Because again, you never know when all of a sudden one of our canines will spot on a piece of baggage and we got to take action. And they took action. They evacuated the terminal. It was quick. And they found out it was not a problem and then back to business.
Anytime that I can stop any kind of terrorism act or act of violence against citizens, it's a good day for me and a good day for the dog and the port in general.
It's never perfect. There's nothing ever perfect on working these ships. There's always something that can go wrong. If you work together, if you work hard trying to make it the common goal for all of us, then it works out.
This morning, despite the high winds, the captain did an extraordinary job to recognizing the danger early And her actions saved the day this morning, and that's the way it's supposed to work.
The whole thing is like one giant orchestra. Everybody has to be on board. And if somebody misses a note, you're going to notice it right away and correct it. That's basically what we do when we bring the ship in and out of the Port of LA.
The last of the cruise ship provisions load. The vessels make their sail times with passengers safe and secure. Coast Guard and Port Police remain vigilant. And the busiest cruise ship day of the year comes to a close at America's port.